the commentary on the Hevajra Tantra called the Jewel Garland of Yoga, Yoga Ratna Mālā Nāma Hevajra Pañjikā, by Kāṇha. Chapter 8. The Yoginī Circle, the meeting of the great yoginīs. I will now teach the Yoginī Circle. One should visualize a bhaga in the expanse of space and perform the meditation within it. First the circle as prescribed, and then the deities in the order of arising. In the line, I will now teach the Yoginī Circle, the circle is the mandala. In one sense, it is a great city of liberation, a supreme primordial abode. In that sense, the circle is twofold. It is the mandala that provides support, and it is that which is to be supported. In this context, the samadhi yogas of the first yoga, of the supreme ruler of the mandala, and of the supreme ruler of activity are to be taught. This practice was not taught in the chapter on the deities, because that chapter treated the practices of the soul hero type. The yogini here is Nairatmya. The Yoginī circle is her circle. In the verse beginning, one should visualize, the expanse of space refers to the expanse of space inside the Vajra tent and walls. The bhaga is to be visualized as a dharmodaya, a triangular shape that is brilliant white like the autumn moon. One should perform the meditation within it. Within that dharmodaya, one performs the meditation on the four elements that serve as the cause for generating the circle that provides support. To explain how this is done, Vajradhara speaks the line beginning, first the circle, the topic of the next verse. The circle is earth, first is water, as prescribed is the oblation eater. The deities is great wind, and in the order of arising is the meditator. The verse that begins, the circle is earth, provides an explanation. Earth refers to the earth mandala. First, that is, before it, is the water mandala. Before that is as prescribed, meaning the mandala of the oblation eater, and before that are the deities, referring to the wind mandala. Precisely these aspects are taken on by the mind of the meditator, which is expressed by the phrase, in the order of arising. To explain, the yogin should first visualize, in the center of the dharmodaya, the syllable yam transform into a bow-shaped, blue-colored wind mandala with two ends marked with fluttering flags. Above that, the syllable ram transforms into the triangular mandala of fire, with the letter ra marking its corners. Above that, the syllable vam transforms into the circular white mandala of water, which is marked with pots. Above that, the syllable lam should be visualized, transforming into the square yellow mandala of earth, with vajras marking the corners. The circle that arises from the dharmodaya has two enclosures and is free of faults. One enclosure contains lotus stamens, and the other is known to contain a triangle. In the verse that begins, the circle that arises, the dharmodaya is a triangular symbol. The circle arises within it through the transformation of the four mandalas, beginning with the wind mandala. As stated, the circle consists of the supporting mandala, which has four corners, and all the other features. Vajradhara will describe it as follows. You have explained our circle as adorned with long and short garlands of pearls. It should have four corners, four doors, and be decorated with strings of diamonds. It has two enclosures means that there are two enclosures. The phrase lotus stamens indicates that one of the enclosures contains an 8-petaled lotus in its center. A triangle refers to the dharmodaya. The square support mandala covers it and extends beyond it. In its center, he should visualize a corpse, which is identified with the 15 seats. On top of it is a moon disk, with the seed syllable on top of that. In its center, meaning inside the temple palace that is within the double enclosure, the yogin should imagine the seats of the 15 yoginīs, with individual corpse seats in each place. On top of it, meaning at the heart of the central corpse seat, is a moon disk that is a transformation of the vowels. Upon that is the seed syllable, which is the first letter. Next, a sun surmounts that. The meeting of the two is great bliss. The vowels are present in the form of the moon, and the sun is present in the form of the consonants. Above it is a sun disk, which is a transformation of the consonants. The two refers to the moon and the sun, which have the natures of wisdom and means. Between them is the previously mentioned seed syllable, whose nature is great bliss. Vajradhara once again describes the natures of the sun and the moon with the lines that begin, "The vowels are present." From the meeting of the moon and the sun comes the famed Gauri and so forth. The moon has the mirror-like wisdom, and he with 7 horses has the wisdom of equality. The 15 yoginīs are Gauri and so forth. Because they arise from the moon, sun, and seed syllable, the yoginīs consist of wisdom, means, and great bliss, and are said to have the nature of Vajradhara. Now, Vajradhara shows that the natures of the 5 Tathagatas are the 5 wisdoms, the mirror-like and so forth, by speaking the lines that begin, "The moon has the mirror-like wisdom." The seed syllables and emblems of one's deity are said to be discrimination. All becoming one is the accomplishing wisdom, and their perfection is the pure Dharma Dhatu. The emblem is the seed syllable on the moon, which is on the handle of the knife that was transformed from the seed syllable. Of one's deity means of the goddess. Discrimination refers to the wisdom of discrimination. The phrase, "all becoming one," refers to the multitudes of yoginīs who burst forth from the seed syllable inside the emblem, pervade everything, and are all gathered back in as one, meaning they are all become one via the seed syllable. That very seed syllable is the wisdom of accomplishing activities. Perfection refers to the perfection of the deity's body through the transformations of the moon, sun, emblem, and seed syllable. This perfection is the wisdom of the pure Dharma Dhatu. The intelligent yogin should cultivate the 5 aspects following the methods that were taught. The vowels and consonants in union are the cushion of the Vajrasattva. The 5 aspects of the mirror-like wisdom and the rest. Intelligent means wise. The vowels and consonants in union refers to the discs of the moon and the sun forming a pair. A cushion is a seat. Vajra refers to the emblem, and sattva to the seed syllable. The meaning is that the cushion is the seat of this Vajrasattva. The syllables hum, pat, and so forth are not needed for the embryo arisen from the syllable. One should visualize the chief deity of the mandala arising from the sattva image. In the verse beginning the syllables hum, the syllable refers to the syllable at the beginning. The embryo that arises from it is the embryo of the master of the mandala. Regarding the line that begins the syllables hum and pat are not needed to generate the principal deity in the mandala of Nairatmya. The phrase and so forth indicates that the syllables a and om, wisdom and means that melt to form the body, are also not needed. To explain how the embryo comes about if it does not arise from melting, Vajradhara speaks the line beginning, "One should visualize." In the phrase sattva image, the word sattva refers to the seed letter and image to the emblem. The chief deity of the mandala, the master of the mandala, Nairatmya, arises from these two. With faces, emblems, and the rest as before, they are as bright as a moonstone jewel. Thus they are all perfectly formed as the nature of wisdom and means. As before means that just as Vajra Shrinkala was described in the chapter on the deities, they hold a knife and a skull cup in their right and left hands. In the phrase with faces, emblems, and the rest, the word faces refers to their faces, and emblems to the knife, skull cup, and khatbanga. And the rest refers to the clothes, adornments, and so forth. The phrase bright as a moonstone jewel indicates that their light is like a moonstone jewel, and means they have moon seats and are haloed with moonlight. Thus means that they are like the master of the mandala. They all refers to Vajra, Gauri, and the rest. How are they perfectly formed? As the nature of wisdom and means. Vowels are wisdom and consonants are means, reflecting the distinction between the moon and the sun. Gauri and the others arise from them, the distinction of phonemes being different for each. The phrase Gauri and the others indicates that Gauri and the other yoginīs emanate from the seed syllable situated within the emblem on the moon disk at the heart of the master of the mandala, and populate the mandala through the transformation of the moon, sun, emblems, and seed syllable. Are their seed syllables the same as Nairatmya's? To explain that they are not, Vajradhara speaks the lines beginning, the distinction of phonemes. There is a distinction of phenomes referring to the seed syllable. This means that each seed syllable is different from the other. As Vajradhara will say in the chapter, the condensed meaning of sealing and of the entire Hevajra Tantra. The first vowel is Nairatmya, the second is Vajra. Because the 5 yoginīs are located within the inner enclosure, the adept of yoga should always reflect on them as the nature of the 5 aggregates. To indicate their locations, Vajradhara spoke the verse beginning, because the 5 yoginīs. The term inner indicates an internal enclosure. One should reflect on the 5 yoginīs as the pure aspects of the 5 aggregates. Vajra is in Indra's direction, Gauri in Yama's, Vari Yoginī in Varuna's, Vajradaki in Kubera's, and Nairatmya Yoginī is in the center. Indra's direction is the east. In the outer enclosure are Gauri, Chauri, Vetali, Gasmari, Pukasi, Shabari, and Chandali. Dombini is understood to be the 8th. In the outer enclosure, at the doors starting in the east, are Gauri, Chauri, Vetali, and Gasmari. In the corners, starting from the direction of Ishana, are Pukashi, Shabari, Chandali, and Dombi. Buchari and Kechari are known as the one below and the one above. These 2 deities, Great Compassionate One, are established as the nature of existence and nirvana. Because Buchari protects the region below, she is the one below. The same is the case for Kechari as the one above. These 2 deities are the pure aspects of samsara and nirvana. All the goddesses are black in color, intensely fierce, and adorned with the 5 mudras. Each has one face, red eyes, and holds a knife and skull cup in her hands. The circlet, earrings, necklace, bracelets on their wrists, and the waistband, these 5 pure mudrakas are, in their pure aspect, the 5 Buddhas. In their pure aspect, they are the 5 Buddhas, means that they have the nature of the 5 Buddhas. A mudraka is a mudra, a seal. They are all described as being similar to Nairatmya Yoginī. They wield a skull cup with one hand while holding a knife in the right. Similar means in the same way. They each have a Kṛṣṇa to their left, wear a tiger skin around their hips, stand on a corpse, are blazing and radiant, and have 2 arms and hair that is yellow. Blazing and radiant means that their bodies are ablaze and their minds are radiant. Their knives are poised to cut the 6 faults, pride and the rest. The lotus vessel contains a head, the false concepts of existence and non-existence. In the lines beginning the 6 faults, Vajradhara describes the intrinsic nature of the knives and the rest. They drink the blood of the 4 maras in order to attain accomplishment. The Kṛṣṇa represents emptiness, and the corpse indicates means. If one visualizes the circle like this, one will swiftly attain accomplishment. In the first stage, she should be visualized as black, and in the second as only red. Like this means visualizes in this way. Swiftly means quickly. In the third, she should be visualized as yellow, in the fourth as green, in the fifth as blue, and in the sixth as white-bodied. The yogin should meditate on these 6 phases, and afterward on the one that ends with cessation. These comprise the stage of arising and the stage of the arisen. To facilitate the mind's capacity, Vajradhara now teaches the yoga of the 6 phases. The number 6 refers to the 6 colors that identify the 6 chakravartins. Afterward means subsequently. The one that ends with cessation is simple innate joy. The Dharma instructions of Vajra holders are based on 2 stages. The section on arising has been taught. In order to now teach the second stage, the stage of the arisen, after explaining the stage of arising, Vajradhara speaks the verse beginning, the Dharma instructions. Stage means mode. A stage of what? Of samadhi. The samadhi during which arising takes place is referred to as the stage of arising. Arising is the arising of the complete form of the deity through the transformation of the moon, emblem, seed syllable, and so on. Arisen refers to the form that is specifically related to the true nature. The yoga during which the yogin resolves that embodied reality and contemplates it is the stage of the arisen. These 2 stages are what the Dharma instructions of Vajra holders pertain to. The Vajra holders are the Buddhas, and the Dharma instructions are the instructions on the samadhis. The verse that begins, one should visualize, refers to the section on arising, the perspective of the stage of arising. It is taught means there is an explicit explanation. The same verse also describes the stage of the arisen, about which Vajradhara said, in the expanse of space means in the lotuses. Bhaga is understood as knowledge. Meditation indicates meditative attainment, and its bliss is called the circle. In the lotuses means in the lotus of the wisdom aspect. Knowledge is the Vajra. Visualize means insert. These 3 are at the beginning, and the 2 types of the innate come at the end. The meditation should be performed between these 2. It is a focused performance, meditative attainment. It is the movement, the meditation through which bliss is born. This bliss is called the circle, a term indicating the circle of yoginīs because they congregate specifically through this great bliss. Following logic is self-awareness, and the deity is the mind of awakening. In the order of arising is semen. Accordingly, the innate is of two types. What is this bliss like? Vajradhara explains with the verse beginning, following logic. Self-awareness is experience that is not dependent on other factors, but is an individual experience. It means intrinsic nature. Self-awareness is precisely awakening. The mind with the intrinsic nature of awakening is the mind of awakening. The word "and" is used in a conjunctive sense, with the understanding that the deity resides in the body. The phrase "in the order of arising" refers to the arising of any deity in their respective order, without the notion of subject and object. Semen resembles the moon in liquid form. This being so, the innate is of two types, indicating that innate joy is of two types. The woman, therefore, is wisdom, and the man is known as means. From that there is a twofold distinction in both, corresponding to the revealed and concealed. What is a woman and what is a man in the context of the natural state? Vajradhara explains in the lines beginning, the woman. In both is in the locative case. In what way is joy twofold? Vajradhara explains in the line beginning, corresponding to the revealed. Great bliss has the nature of the revealed, while the way it arises corresponds to the concealed, insofar as it is partially obscured by details. Indeed, there is a twofold distinction in the man, his sexual fluid and his bliss. In the wisdom aspect too, just as in the man, there is sexual fluid and there is bliss. For that very reason, indeed, there is the division of four joys, because there is a fourfold division of the innate in terms of the stage of the arisen. For that very reason means because both have a twofold distinction. Division of the four refers to being fourfold insofar as the twofold division is common to both. There are certainly other interpretations of the four joys. How do they not contradict what is presented here? Vajradhara explains in the line beginning, of the innate. In the stage of the arisen, the four joys arise in succession: joy, supreme joy, and so forth. Thus the twofold division of the innate is said to be fourfold. This is one interpretation. In the passage beginning with, in the expanse of space, the phrase "in the lotuses" means in the lotuses of the four goddesses Lochana and so forth. Knowledge refers to non-dual knowledge. It is known as the bhaga because it breaks apart the mara of the afflictions and so forth. Meditation refers to meditative attainment, the synchronized movement performed together with the external mudra when the lotus and the vajra are united. The bliss is the bliss of that meditative attainment, and is referred to as the circle, with the meaning that the circle designates the four chakras. The phrase "following logic" expresses the idea of in sequence. Self-awareness refers to the bliss associated with the activity seal and characterizes the master initiation. It is pointed out by a master as located in the first chakra. That is what is identified as self-awareness. The bliss that arises in association with the Dharma seal is the mind of awakening, meaning that this bliss is the mind of awakening. The bliss that is attained in association with the Samaya seal is the bliss of the deity. The great bliss that is characterized by the absence of defilements and arises in association with the great seal is the sexual fluid that is characterized as arising in the proper sequence. Sexual fluid, shukra, cuts the suffering of samsara's grief, shu, as if with a saw, kṛṣṇa. The phrase of two types describes the innate that is of two types because of the bliss experienced as the four seals. The first type is great bliss, and the second is sexual fluid. This expresses the idea that the innate is twofold, based on the division of mudras into the activity seal, Dharma seal, and the rest. Does the innate arise for the man only, or for both the woman and the man? About this, Vajradhara spoke the lines beginning, "The woman is known as wisdom." For that very reason, the fourfold division of the joys follows the fourfold division of the seals. In this Yoginī Tantra, women and men alike should receive the initiations and so forth according to their respective inferior, middling, and superior capacities. The mudras may indeed be divided into four, but why are the joys divided into four? About this, Vajradhara speaks the lines beginning, "Because there is a fourfold division." The term stage of the arisen implies that it is characterized by the arising of bliss. This is an alternative interpretation. All this must be learned through a master's instructions. The first joy is the hero, while supreme joy is the yoginī. The joy of sexual pleasure is indeed combined. Their bliss is the means, the omniscient one. Now to describe the three types of joy in their entirety. Vajradhara speaks the verse beginning, "The first joy." Hero refers here to the male practitioner because of his diligent endeavor. Supreme joy refers to the yoginī, because without her the joys would not arise. The joy of sexual pleasure is characterized as the innate, and the word combine indicates that it comprises all three. To express precisely that, Vajradhara says, "the means," referring to instructions on the four seals. Their bliss refers to the bliss born from contemplating them. The omniscient one is Vajradhara. In the stage of arising, the four joys are observed in order to discern the innate. In the stage of the arisen, however, only the innate should be contemplated. Joy involves some bliss. Supreme joy is superior to it. During the joy of cessation, there is dispassion, while innate joy is what remains. Pertaining to this, Vajradhara gives three descriptions of the joys in the three verses, beginning with, "Joy involves some bliss," while innate joy is what remains implies that innate joy is the outcome. The first three joys have the nature of existence and nirvana, are rooted in confusion, and so bring forth samsara. For that reason, innate joy affects the attainment of the great bliss that is to be accomplished, and which is characterized as the body of qualities. It alone is to be cultivated. The first comes through longing for contact, the second through the desire for bliss, the third comes from passion's vanishing, and the fourth should be cultivated through this. Why do the first three joys not bring liberation? About this, Vajradhara speaks the verse beginning, "The first comes through longing." Contact refers to contact between the lotus and the Vajra. The second comes through the desire for bliss that is greater than that. The third is the joy of cessation that comes from passion's vanishing, because it has the nature of being passionless. The fourth, which is called the innate, should be cultivated through this method. Supreme joy is called existence. The absence of passion is nirvana, and the one in between is simply called joy. The innate, however, is excluded from them. In the verse that begins supreme joy, the term existence is defined as samsara, because it is intrinsically associated with longing. The absence of passion refers to the joy of cessation, which is called nirvana. The one in between refers to the first joy, which merely entails ordinary pleasure. The innate is excluded from them, meaning that it is excluded from the three joys that were just mentioned. It has the nature of being unstained by the faults of either samsara or nirvana. To be precise, this specifically should be cultivated, not the others. No one else can explain the innate, nor can it be found anywhere. It is known only for oneself, based on merit, by attending to the Master's transmission. If innate joy can bring about what is to be attained, the level of the great Vajradhara, then it can be accomplished through the experience of the wisdom aspects lotus alone. What is to be cultivated? About this, Vajradhara speaks the lines that begin, "No one else." No one means not the Vajradhara-like master, and so forth. Nor anywhere means not in the four chakras, or in union with the wisdom aspects lotus. The implication is that this joy is an individual experience, because it is beyond the range of expressible concepts. How then is innate joy explained or learned? In terms of the concealed truth of its arising, but not in terms of how it really is, just as is the case when learning of the pleasures and sufferings experienced by gods and beings in hell. How then can it be known? About this, Vajradhara says, "It is only known for oneself. It is discovered for oneself through a special type of contemplation. Such contemplation is necessary because it is impossible to bring about innate joy directly without perfecting this contemplation. Thus it has been said, 'The path that I have shown extracts the thorn of craving. The Tathagatas explain it. You alone can follow it.' But surely this maxim applies when visualizing the mandala circle and so forth, whereas innate joy is obtained only through direct experience. When the meaning is directly accessible, instructions from someone else are not necessary. About this, Vajradhara says, based on merit and so forth. In this perspective, it is not just worldly innate joy that is to be accomplished, because for samsaric beings its attainment is stained by defilements. It is much more important that the innate, the individually experienced body of qualities of the Tathagatas is accomplished. Because there is no other way, it is resolved according to the instructions to be found in precisely this worldly innate joy. It is only known for oneself once the meditation is perfected, and not before. Study, reflection, and meditation are therefore not pointless. The means is the path, while attending to it is correct meditation. This has many transmissions, meaning it has many types. The Master's transmission refers to the transmission obtained from the Master, which means the instruction given by the Master to a suitable disciple according to procedure. Inferior, middling, superior, the other, and the various things. They are all the same. This is how to see things when cultivating reality. How is the natural state cultivated? Is it only in one place, or does it encompass everything? The verse beginning inferior, middling, superior addresses this. Inferior refers to subtle objects. Superior is said to be material objects, and the middling is devoid of both. The other is the 6 sense faculties. Having briefly introduced this subject in the preceding verse, Vajradhara now explains it. Subtle objects are one's own primary and subsidiary mental states. Material objects refers to one's own body. Both refers to parts of the body. The 6 sense faculties are vision and so forth that are located in the body. The various things are the mobile and immobile. They all, not just me, are the same, equal in behavior, when one cultivates reality as same taste. Mobile and immobile refers to the external sentient and insentient entities. The phrase, not just me, means all these things are not only me, not exclusively Vajradhara, whose nature is great bliss, but are equal in their behavior, indivisible in nature. To explain how, Vajradhara says, when one cultivates reality, which is explained with the phrase, same taste. Same expresses equal. Its taste is known as the circle. Equal taste means single nature. These is the sense with which it is taught. This verse provides a further explanation. Same means alike. The pronoun its stands for the inferior, the middling, and so forth. Taste is synonymous with essence or condition. What is that taste? It is the circle, meaning that it is the natural state characterized by great bliss. Explaining the complete meaning, Vajradhara says, equal taste means single nature. The entire world arises from me. The 3 worlds arise from me. I pervade all of this. The world is not seen to consist of anything else. How then should one cultivate the experience of equal taste? Vajradhara explains in the passage beginning, the entire world. Knowing this, the yogin, well focused on the practice, will surely succeed, without doubt, even if a person of little merit. Knowing this means ascertaining this. Well-focused implies in all situations. Whether eating, drinking, or bathing, when awake or even asleep, he should reflect. The one seeking the Great Seal achieves continuity through this. Elaborating further, Vajradhara speaks the verse beginning, whether eating, drinking, or bathing. Continuity implies that the taste will sustain itself. The phrase, the one seeking the Great Seal, has the sense of, for the sake of the Great Seal, and expresses being earnestly devoted to it. The entire world should be meditated upon because it is not meditated on with the mind. The thorough cognition of all phenomena is meditation that is not meditation at all. To explain how to stabilize the mind in pursuit of this goal, Vajradhara now speaks the line beginning with the entire world. The entire world refers to the world and the sentient beings it contains. It is precisely all of this that should be meditated upon. For what reason? Vajradhara says that if they are not conceptualized by thoughts, by conceptual knowledge, they are not meditated upon. Explaining this, Vajradhara says, the thorough cognition, meaning that when they are cognized as having the nature of the innate, there is no meditation at all. All that is mobile and immobile, things such as grass, bushes, vines, and the like, should be meditated on as the ultimate reality, one's own true intrinsic nature. The verse that begins, all that is mobile and immobile, explains all of that to be precisely the ultimate reality, and that it should be meditated on in terms of the nature of reality. What is that ultimate reality? Vajradhara explains this in the line beginning, one's own. It is one's own intrinsic nature, the intrinsic nature of one's own mind, defined as the natural state. There is nothing beyond their singular nature. Self-awareness, great bliss, accomplishment comes from self-awareness, and meditation is just self-awareness. Their singular nature refers to reality defined as the innate. What is it that is singular? Self-awareness. Is it not ultimate reality that refers to the reality of all phenomena? Surely there is no reality beyond it. About this, Vajradhara speaks the lines beginning, accomplishment comes. Accomplishment of the Great Seal comes only from the mind comprising great bliss. Self-awareness is the mind defined as great bliss, which is precisely what meditation is in the context of the stage of the arisen. Action consists of self-awareness. Action is born from wakefulness. It is its own remover. It is its own agent. It is its own king. It is its own master. Regarding the line, action consists of self-awareness, action is precisely what is observed. The variations of beings that arise through the ripening of actions, such as being immobile, mobile, and so forth. If action is something that arises from self-awareness, how can the Great Seal be accomplished? To explain this, Vajradhara says, from wakefulness. Action is produced when wakefulness functions in terms of subject and object, which is not the case when everything has the equal taste of the innate. Therefore, because action consists of the innate, it is its own remover. It is its own agent insofar as it has no other agent. It itself is the agent of good and bad actions. Because it itself rules, it is the king. Because it itself presides over the destruction of all the afflictions, it is the master. Desire, hatred, envy, delusion, and pride. None are worth even 1/16 of that delightful state. In the verse that begins, desire, that state refers to meditation on the state of self-awareness. Desire and the rest are not worth even 1/16, which means that there is no chance for them to manifest. The knowledge that arises in the Dharmodaya is sky-like and endowed with means. The threefold world is born in it, as the nature of wisdom and means. To explain the nature of self-awareness, Vajradhara speaks the verse beginning, the knowledge that arises from the Dharmodaya. The word Dharma refers to the Dharma of the noble ones. They arise, udaya, from it. Hence it is called Dharmodaya, referring to the Dharma Dhatu. The mudra's lotus, where the Dharma Dhatu is sealed, is also a Dharmodaya through the power of believing it to be so. Because it arises within it, Vajradhara speaks the line, the knowledge that arises in the Dharmodaya. What does it resemble? It is sky-like, meaning that it has the nature of space. Means refers to the path and is of many types. As Vajradhara says and will say, in the stage of the arisen, only the innate should be cultivated by applying various means. How can one use means to attain the level of the great Vajradhara? About this, Vajradhara speaks the line beginning with the threefold world. The three worlds are the secret body, speech, and mind, each being infinite, of the Buddhas of the 10 directions and 3 times. The three together are the threefold world, referring to the great Vajradhara who is born in it. One should cultivate the wisdom born from it. In what form? As the nature of wisdom and means. Wisdom is superior knowledge and refers to the Dharmakaya. Means refers to the other 2 bodies, the Sambhogakaya and Nirmanakaya, that emerge from the Dharmakaya to benefit the world. This means his nature is born from those 2. The Blessed Lord takes the form of semen. Its bliss is known as the amorous consort. Devoid of being one or many, he is, all at once, supreme and unique delight. How is it that Vajradhara arises in the Dharmodaya from these 2? About this, Vajradhara speaks the lines beginning, the Blessed Lord. Blessed Lord refers to the means, which is comprised of the 2 bodies. In the phrase, its bliss, that which is bliss is said to be the sky-like wisdom. This bliss is the amorous consort, the wisdom aspect. Regarding the line that begins, devoid of being one or many, he refers to the means aspect that takes the form of semen. Since he is devoid of the nature of being one or many, he is without intrinsic nature, which means he is empty upon analysis. For that reason he should not be meditated upon, as this would be wrong and would not be conducive to swiftly attaining awakening. In the line that begins, he is, all at once, the phrase unique delight refers to pleasure, the knowledge of the great bliss of the natural state. This delight is the emptiness of all phenomena, meaning that it specifically is the supreme and most excellent focus of cultivation. The sense is that this is because there is no such analysis into one or many in this context. This knowledge is self-awareness. Its scope is beyond the range of words. This stage of empowerment aligns with the knowledge of the omniscient ones. If there is no occasion for analysis, how can it be known? About this, Vajradhara speaks the lines beginning, this knowledge is self-awareness. No one can explain it. It must be experienced for oneself. The range of words refers to the way of words, to how they are received. Beyond their range means surpassing their scope. This stage of empowerment aligns with the totality of the Tathagata's body, speech, and mind. Earth, water, wind, fire, and space all instantly cease to harm, and the minds of oneself and others are known. In the 2 verses beginning Earth, Vajradhara describes the results of cultivating the natural state. How is it that one will not be bound by earth and other elements? The meditator will be able to sink into and rise up from the earth at will, and to pass back and forth through walls and mountains without obstruction. He will not be harmed by poisons, weapons, and the like. Will be able to lie, sit, stand, or walk either above or below water, and will not be affected by wind, rain, and so forth. The same applies also to other elements. The minds of oneself and others are known, means that one will know the past, present, and future minds of oneself and others. One will instantly assume the identical forms of celestial, human, and subterranean beings. It will be utterly impossible to be harmed by concepts that distinguish between self and other. In the line that begins, "one will instantly," the phrase "identical forms" means identical nature. The meaning of the phrase "oneself and others" is obvious. The entirety of the Vedas, canonical literature, ritual procedures, and so on, will not grant accomplishment unless through purification, in another life, a later existence. Referring to the special character of the Hevajra Tantra in relation to other sacred works, Vajradhara speaks the verse beginning, "the entire Veda." The Vedas are the Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, and Atharva Veda. Canonical literature is the literature composed by the non-Buddhist, such as the Puranas and so forth, and also the sutra literature, such as the Shravaka collection. Through these, accomplishment may come at the end of one's next rebirth. With that in mind, ritual procedures refers to the Kriya Tantras and so forth, which will not bring accomplishment as described in the Hevajra Tantra. Can the accomplishment be won in the Paramitā? No, it cannot. To explain this, Vajradhara speaks the line beginning, "through purification." Through purification means that through purification one is cleansed of the obscuration of the afflictions and of cognitive obscuration. Purity refers to the path of the 6 paramitas, through which awakening occurs. This, however, will take place in another life, which means after a series of rebirths over the period of 3 immeasurable eons. There is no accomplishment without it, either in this world or the next. One who does not know the Hevajra exerts themselves in vain. In the Yoga Tantras, it is also said that one can awaken in this life. So what makes this Tantra superior to those? About this, Vajradhara speaks the lines beginning, "there is no accomplishment." Without it, without the natural state that is defined as self-cognizing awareness, there is no accomplishment here in this very life or in the next. So how is this Tantra different than those Yoga Tantras? About this, Vajradhara speaks the lines beginning, "one who does not know." The innate, which is alluded to in other Tantras, is expressed in very clear terms in the Hevajra Tantra alone. For that reason, one who does not For that reason, one who does not know the Hevajra exerts themselves in study, reflection, and meditation completely in vain. This is what Vajradhara is saying. Like the flow of a river's current, and continuous like a lamp's light, this is how one should constantly remain united with reality, day and night. If awakening is so difficult to obtain, how can it be reached in a single lifetime? About this, Vajradhara speaks the verse beginning with, "like the flow of a river's current." A river's current refers to the flow of a river, giving the sense being uninterrupted in just that way. A lamp's light refers to a lamp's flame, which is continuous. One should remain like that, constantly, without interruption, united with reality, the state of innate joy. This indicates that if this condition is fulfilled, one will certainly attain awakening in this very lifetime. This was the 8th chapter, the Yoginī Circle, the meeting of the great yoginīs. The great yoginīs are Nairatmya and the rest. Their meeting, their gathering, takes place in the temple palace of innate joy. The chapter that elucidates this is named as such. This concludes the gathering, the 8th chapter in the Jewel Garland of Yoga, a commentary on the Hevajra Tantra composed by the Venerable Master Kṛṣṇa